post defense? I mean, is that more what Bailey and Chaney have done, or more just your guards and everybody helping out and getting the deflections and stuff inside?
Yeah, I think it's a it's all encompassing. It's a guy that's guarding the post player. It's the guy that's guarding the passer. It's the players on the weak side. So I really think it's, at least the way that we play defense right now, it's like it's not on one guy's shoulder. Like it's not Adrio or Reggie's defensive responsibility to guard Bassie, and it's if Jimmy Witt guards a post player, it's not Jimmy's job to contain. It's everybody's job. It's like you got to have activity on the ball. You got to have good weak side help, and then, like I said, if we choose to trap the post, that'll be something that's a little bit newer and unique for us.
Mike's got these handy deflection stats here, and Adriel's leading the team with 40. Reggie's got 19, even though, like you said, he missed 3 games. I mean, just what do you think about the big? Even Ethan's got 7. What do you think about the big guys' deflections? And could Ethan? Is there a role for Ethan in this game, maybe?
Yeah, I think. Again, Bob, it's just like we got to kind of figure out like how the flow of the game's going, and certainly Ethan played phenomenal last game, and he's got probably more confidence. We have more confidence as a staff with what he did. Having said that, I mean it's two teams that have a pretty short rotation, both Western and us. We just got to see how the flow of the game is. Like, do we need perimeter scoring? Do we need perimeter threats, or do we need another taller guy inside? Was there more to that question?
Yeah, deflections. Adriel's got 40 and leads the team, and Chaney's got 19, even though he missed 3 games. What do you think that says about their defense, what they're doing?
Yeah, I mean, defensively, we talk all the time about getting your hand on a ball, whether you're guarding a passer, whether you're guarding a post player. I mean, we can't just play traditional defense inside. I mean, we've got to be active. We've got to take different angles, meaning if a guy's posting up on the block, do you come from the bottom side to try to get around, or do you come from the top side? And we change that up based on who the personnel is, whether we want to, sneak around top side or sneak around bottom side. We change it up maybe at halftime depending on who that player is. If they've, sometimes they'll slide the post player up the lane a little bit more if you're coming from a certain angle. And, certain players are better at fronting than other players. Some guys we play behind, and then we kind of dig down and sit in the lap of the guy. So, but for our whole team, we have to get deflections. Like, we've got to get our hands on balls for us to have a chance.
This 8-0 start's the best one, I guess, in 20 years, and you're the first. I don't even know if you know who Eugene Lambert is, but I guess he was the last first-year coach to win this many to start his career at Arkansas. And I think he plays pretty solid teams, but I guess according to Ken Palm, your strength schedule is like somewhere in the 270s. How well do you think you guys have played? What do you make of the start and being, a coach? Nobody's done this since like World War II as far as a first-year coach.
I mean, I just like the same thing we talk to our players about is like, how do we take one game at a time? That's who we are this year. We're not a team that can look forward to anything. We're not a team that can look backwards on anything. I mean, we got one thing to worry about. It's Western Kentucky. We do have some really tough games coming up on the schedule. Certainly, this is the beginning of it, a road game against a really talented team. But you just got to go one at a time. And Georgia Tech was a good win. I mean, they played well against Nebraska last night, and with the conference that they're in, their strength of schedule that's going to help us. Because we looked at, even last night, we looked at Power 5 schools, where they are strength of schedule-wise, even teams that don't win their league or finish in the middle of the the Georgia Tech game is going to be a pretty good game for us because of being a true road game. And it's the same thing with Western. I mean, everybody understands that that's a hard place to play. So where we are, I don't really know because it's only 8 games. I think we've had some really good moments, and then we've had some really teachable moments where maybe, I haven't been in the greatest mood or feel like we've got some holes that we got to continue to address. And one of those is just shooting, which is kind of out of our opponent's control to some degree, and it's kind of up to us to make shots.
So they ain't no star. That's not a big deal to you. And like I say, being the first year Arkansas coach to do that since the 40s. I mean, that's.
I mean, I'd rather be 8-0 than 0-8. I know that, but no. I mean, I think it's great for our players because I think it helps with buy-in to stuff that we're doing. I think that's the most important thing is that our guys that put in a lot of work over the summer, that they feel like that we're building and getting better each game, and those things are really important. I think more than anything. I mean, we all hate to lose. Every coach hates to lose, and the players, they don't want to lose. But I mean, as far as the start, I mean, I think like I said, I'd rather come into a new situation and win off the bat than not.
Did you ever have a conversation with Jaylen Harris about embracing his role coming off the bench, and how do you think he's done this season? Yeah,
I mean, we told him that we felt he was a starter talent-wise, and we can't start 6 guys, and so you make your decision with 5 guys and to try to embrace the role. And I mean, he's playing starter minutes. And certainly his shooting has improved dramatically, like we talked about before we even played a regular season game, that he put a tremendous amount of work in. And he changes the pace for us. When he comes in, we play a little bit faster. And just the way that the game's evolving throughout basketball, whether you're talking about FIBA or teams in Europe or whether you're talking about teams in the NBA or college, a lot of teams play 2 point guards, and you're even seeing some people play 3 point guards at a time. It always helps to have an extra ball handler on the floor if teams try to pressure you a little bit.
Yeah, and in terms of his shooting, it looked like he even kind of created an open shot for himself the other day, which is something we didn't see much of last year. Where do you think his confidence level is at right now, especially coming off the bench? You think that's helped a little bit maybe?
Who's that?
Jaylen.
Yeah. I mean, I think that I don't know if coming off the bench has helped him. Because I think he'd like to. I think every player, not just him. Just if you went and secret polled all of our players, they'd all like to start. But yeah, I just think his work that he's put in, like when you see the ball go through the net, through repetition, it builds a great deal of confidence. And so I think he's way more confident than maybe he has been. And then when you make one, and now he's made more than one. And so I do think he's shooting the ball with a lot more confidence. He's shooting the ball. Last year I think a lot of his 3 point shots, a lot of them came towards the end of the shot clock and stuff. And I think now he's got the confidence to shoot that thing, even early in the shot clock, which we want him to have that confidence.
I guess just reviewing the last game's film, kind of the turnovers, anything you saw, a pattern or anything with them or stuff that's correct?
Yeah, so not only do we chart the turnovers, we chart when they happen, we chart, are they, like our big thing is, are those turnovers happening because of the defense? Are they happening because of the style the defense is played? Are they happening in transition? Are they happening in the half-court set? Most of our turnovers are self-inflicted, meaning a palming call, a moving screen, a travel, stepping out of bounds when you shoot a corner 3. That's a bulk of our turnovers, believe it or not. I mean, we did have a home run pass that we tried to make, a bounce pass in transition, because I'm wondering, are we trying to, is it happening in the half court where we're trying to run a set and we're trying to execute, or is it happening because we have freedom in transition? It's really neither of the two. It's kind of that in-between no man's land, meaning, shoot, we're not jump stopping on a screen, or somebody traveling, not putting the ball on the deck before they make a jab step move. So, but our players are all getting it on film. We're talking to them about it, and we're continuing to try to evaluate how we can come up with some formula. Because for a stretch there, we were great at not turning the ball over, and really before the last game we turned it over like that was Rice. And the Rice game was when we played really fast, and then we went back and looked at the turnovers. They really didn't happen in transition, surprisingly.
Yeah, obviously, you wouldn't have brought Jimmy Witt in if you didn't think he was going to help you. But has he played even better than you thought? What has he really brought to the table for you guys? What have you liked about what he's done for you?
Yeah, I think Jimmy just brings a lot. Number one, he's even keel, like on a daily basis. He doesn't get too high. He doesn't get too low, which is good for me to have a point guard like that. That's not like me. So he's mature. He's a great defender that we put anywhere on the point guard or the four-man. Every night he gets assigned the top defender that he could possibly guard based on his size. And then he's a great rebounder, which is we knew, when the recruiting process went on with grad transfers, the number one area, because of the rebounding numbers last year and because of Daniel leaving, the number one priority was how do we just become better rebounding at any position. And so I certainly think he's filled that void. And then probably, Bob, like to answer the question, like maybe what surprised us with Jimmy is he's kind of become a go-to player, but a go-to player that we never call his play. He kind of gets a shot on his own without it being where we have to manufacture it with the play call. Thanks.